And let the vlogage begin. Hi, I'm Chad, and welcome to Virtual Reality. This is a place where I like to start my vlogs because it is where we can go fast. So without further ado, let us go fast. Back to reality. So this vlog is going to pick up right where my last vlog left off. The introduction of Brandy. She's a fine girl. So just to backtrack a little bit in case you missed some of that vlog, I purchased a new motorcycle in May because my old motorcycle needed a pretty comprehensive engine rebuild. I dropped the old motor out of my bike after buying a dud eBay engine that went awry, which you can hear about in my last vlog, which I will link, and decided that it would be smarter to put my money that I was going to put into a rebuild into a newer motorcycle with less miles and maybe some newer stuff. Well, I spent a little bit of time perusing Craigslist, OfferUp. Those are the two primary ones, and just kind of looking around to see what I could do. I was entertaining because I really loved my last motorcycle. Her name was Emma. I'd had her for almost 4 years, and aside from all of the recent trouble, she was a great bike. She had her nuances and quirks and some electrical gremlins, as some Triumphs do, but I loved her. Great bike. Made me very, very happy, and taught me a lot too. I grew a lot as a rider on her. I grew a lot as a person. It was just an awesome experience. So it was kind of hard to let her go, which is why I went through all the trouble of buying another engine instead of just buying another motorcycle first, which was a huge mistake. Then entertaining a rebuild, I just didn't want to let her go. But eventually I came to my senses and just realized, Chad, you're an adult. You have to be responsible. Just throwing money into an already depreciated asset, not the smartest thing. You know, nostalgia is expensive. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about nostalgia, but the task was too great. This was actually the first bike I looked at. I cannot tell you how many terrible people I dealt with on OfferUp specifically. Just absolutely rude. Someone on Craigslist too. I asked 3 questions about the bike, and when I went to ask a 4th, he told me he didn't have enough time for questions, and that if I wanted to know more about the motorcycle, I could just come see it. So I just never texted him back. Real back! But I knew I wanted another Daytona 675, or at least something. I really love the 3-cylinder engine. I love the triple power plant. It sounds amazing. It's really great to ride and is a versatile and nice balance for a street bike and also for a track bike. Mid-range power is great. So another bike that I actually did kind of consider for a little bit was an MV Agusta F3. I tried to look at a couple of those. People selling them just wouldn't really respond to me. Hindsight, glad I didn't. It's obviously a completely different motorcycle, but also very similar in the sense that it is a super sport bike with a 3-cylinder engine and with just Italian good looks, but obviously higher maintenance, harder to get parts are more expensive. So I decided it would just be smart to stick with the Triumph. I was just looking at newer Daytona 675s, so Gen 2, which is 2009 to 12. They did a facelift for my bike. Some things that they changed on the bike, I believe there were 52 specific things. I'm sure there's a list of them online somewhere. I don't know all of them. The big ones that I know of are the race first gear, which you could buy for the 06 to 08 Daytona 675s as an option and have installed at your dealer, which is just a taller ratio. That became standard on the 09 bikes, 09 and up. Additionally, I don't know if it's the full race wiring harness, but it does have a connection for a quick shifter for Triumph's quick shifter, which is great. They changed the suspension on the standard model, front and rear, more compression and rebound. I think it has high and low compression and rebound as opposed to just one setting for both, like my bike did. There's a bunch of other things too. In 2011 they made the swing arm, I think 10 millimeters longer, aid in stability, but those are the big things that come to my mind. And then of course they have the R model, which was introduced in 2011, and the R model has Olin suspension front and rear, Brembo brakes up front, and a Brembo master cylinder. And the quick shifter comes standard from the factory on the R model. R models are generally a lot more expensive than the standard models. They're a lot more sought after, obviously, because of all the extra goodies they came with. But I happened to find one, and it was a barn find. I found this kid on OfferUp who had the bike for a little bit over 2 years and was just up to his eyeballs in debt. He had a job that barely paid above minimum wage, had a car that he had a loan on, had the bike that he had a loan on, and lived with his parents. So this kid just couldn't afford to ride this bike. He dropped it pretty low speed. I think he said like 20 or 25. Some lady, he said, pushed him off the road into the dirt. He locked it up and just went for a little slide down the road or into some sand in the gutter or something like that. Damage was pretty minimal. He got the bike repainted black and basically never rode it again. He'd put 400 miles on the bike in the 2 years of ownership and never registered it again after he transferred the registration. But we were able to work on a good price. The bike had 7,990 miles when I went to go see it, so super low mileage. I mean, it was a little neglected. The forks needed a rebuild, or at least the seals changed. It was leaking a little bit of oil. The stator cover was rashed up. The tail fairing, one of the mounting tabs was cracked for it. The exhaust was missing one of the centering pieces for it. But at the time, I was also like, you know what? I got a lot of parts from my old Daytona 675 that are interchangeable with this bike. Maybe I should just move all those parts over and, you know, make a little bit of a project, but one that I could actually finish. So we agreed at a very reasonable price. It was less than what I saw some standard Daytona 675s with higher mileage that were similar year or even a little bit older going for. It had a couple issues, so of course it was something that was able to be shrewdly negotiated, but overall it was a good deal. I ended up taking the forks, getting them rebuilt, and had them resprung for my weight while I was at it. Swapped over my exhaust, my rear sets, got bigger clamps because the Olin's forks are bigger than the standard Daytona 675 forks. So I got bigger clamps for my aftermarket clip-ons, and then just took my bar tubes and slid them in there. And I got my zero gravity Corsa windscreen back. Got my own levers, got my lever guard on it, my bar end mirror. And then changed out the tail fairing with the one from my old bike because the mounting tab wasn't cracked. Also swapped out my carbon fiber exhaust shroud for McLaren for the one that came on the bike because it was scratched from when he had gone down. But all in all, really awesome deal. I had to take care of the 2-year back tags, but I think it was a little pricey. I think it was $600 or $700, somewhere in between there. But then she's all good to go. So I named her Brandy because I was watching a lot of Marvel movies around that time. It was right before Endgame came out, and Guardians of the Galaxy is one of my favorites, volumes 1 and 2. And I just really love the song Brandy, You're a Fine Girl by Looking Glass. When I was on my way home, I got to the toll road because we went and picked this bike up in the middle of nowhere. I put on Brandy, You're a Fine Girl, and it just brought a big smile to my face and a tear to my eye because I had been through so much to get riding again, and finally was after about 5 months. So the name stuck, and she is Brandy. You know, I should probably show you guys Brandy. I'm gonna find a nice place to pull over where we can just take a little look-see. So this is Brandy. Oh, if you're beautiful. Oh, I moved my chain and sprocket over from my old bike too because I had like 2,000 miles on him, and the old chain and sprocket, I'm pretty sure, had never been lubed, or at least not in the last 2 years. So it was pretty nasty, but as you can see, beautiful. Got the sharper headlights there. Part of the facelift for the 09 to 12 bikes. The whole front cowl is a little bit different. The R model, I got the carbon fiber front fender. The Öhlins forks, beautiful. Brembo brakes. Those are my brake rotors off my old bike because the ones that were on this bike were warped. Swapped out new pads too. My GB Racing frame sliders. The beautiful Brembo master cylinder. And this lever is actually an OE replacement for a Ducati 848. This came with ASV shorty levers, which I did not like at all, so I got rid of them. My rear sets, the longer swing arm. Then originally the bike was white, all Daytona 675Rs that were 11 and 12 this generation were this beautiful crystal pearl white. The black belly pan had like 675R logos, Daytona logos, all kinds of cool stuff. And then the subframe was originally red. He repainted it black. After the bike went down, he said the fairings were scraped up. Frame slider saved the tank and some other stuff, but he just repainted it black. And then this is my tail fairing, my exhaust shroud, my Triumph off-road exhaust. You can see it only has the single hole, the single thruster hole, not the three. Carbon fiber shroud, bar and mirror, Chinese clutch lever, which is long, which I still like better than the ASV. And then down here, got the Öhlins shock, beautiful with its gold stuff. And then this little gizmo right here is the quick shifter. These are my rear sets off of my old bike. I just had to buy this piece from Sato Racing. It was 35 bucks, the shorter shift linkage to accommodate the quick shifter. And then these are GP shift. GP shift with the OEM quick shifter. Can't beat it, feels great. All right. I think that's going to conclude today's vlog. This is Brandy. You'll be seeing a lot more of her in the future. Going to try to return to making semi-regular vlogs. We'll see how that goes. But until the next one, thanks for watching. Later. One more virtual reality. Yeah, sure, why not?